everybody. I talk loud. I hope you can hear me. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for coming, man. This is exciting. I've enjoyed getting to show you guys all the stuff that's going on. I do not have a presentation. I talk too much. He only give me 25 minutes. I cannot exhaust everything I have to say in 25 minutes, but I try is the problem. So you like drinking from a fire hydrant with some information. I don't try to give you too much, but it's just what happens. So I'm talking about organics, life and practice, form and function. It's like, what the heck is that? That gives me zero help on growing my cannabis. And that's kind of the way it's going to be this presentation, because what I'm trying to get at is a little bit more on the mental health side. And I got to give you a little bit of my background. I was a gymnast for a time. My daughter's a really good gymnast right now at Pride Gymnastics Academy. When I was a gymnast, went to some college and hurt myself pretty bad. I got prescribed pain pills, and that was the beginning of it all. And so as time goes on, I was way too involved on those pain pills, and then I was using a lot of alcohol to help that out too. But what I realized I was doing is I was actually trying to work with my brain. I wasn't wanting to party. I wasn't even hurting that bad. The anxiety and depression is what really made me hurt, because it will make you feel pain that you really don't have, but it's real pain. I was going to doctors trying to figure out what was wrong with me and all this stuff. Long story short, I was using a lot of alcohol and a lot of painkillers to work on my mental health, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was self-diagnosing, right? But all I was doing was creating a lot of addiction, a lot of habits, a lot of demons, and stuff like that. So that was my life. Life had got beyond me. I didn't know how to live anymore. I have 5 kids, I have a wife, I have multiple businesses, and it's difficult because I have not worked on my brain. For 41 years, I have thought toxically. I'm 47 right now. For 41 years, I thought toxically. It wasn't good. I thought negatively. I would think about death too much. I would think about how I'm going to die or when my parents are going to die. And I didn't know all this negative thought would start to trash me mentally. But it does. It's very important how you think. So what I'm going to do is teach you how to think and hopefully live a little bit better based on organics, right? Organics will be the analogy and the metaphor that I always kind of refer to. But life and practice is simply a phrase that I learned from my doctoral studies in seminary, believe it or not. I learned this phrase from my seminary studies, life and practice. It just means something in your life that you do that changes your worldview by doing it. Organics is one of those things. I'm sure growing mushrooms is one of those things too. Organics is one of those things, though, that when you start to do it, your worldview changes a bit. It adjusts some. You start to think differently a little bit. You start to realize how you can recycle things. And it's not the point of I just want to recycle. My point is that it changes you. It makes you think a little bit different. Organics will. And those of you that have done organics or that have been involved for a long time, you know that after a while you're like, man, I love this stuff. I love doing organic growing. I really enjoy all the avenues that I can take. And one thing you learn about organics is it's a great addiction replacement. I'm addicted to organics because I have an addictive personality. That doesn't mean you're gonna like me. It means that I'm gonna like something so much that it'll destroy me if I let it. Good or bad. That's my problem. You got to know yourself, people. This is all part of this game that cannabis can help you with and organics can help you with. I was not thinking correctly. I got into organics, I started thinking differently. I didn't ask for that, it just happened. And it will happen to you also as you get into this organic stuff of trying to make things from Mother Nature, of putting her back into herself and not including anything whatsoever. It's very primitive and earthy, if you will. It's like the fire that burns continually in you and that's burned in humanity forever. This is what we did a long time ago. It brings you closer to earth. It brings you closer to a better, healthy living, a lifestyle that's not wasteful. And not just material not wasteful, but not wasteful with the time you spend with others also. You start to learn meaning and value, and that this stuff has taken me a lot of time. My IMO 3 has taken me 4 weeks now to gather and to inoculate, but I know that with that time something great is coming. Those are awesome, great lessons organics teaches you. I smoke weed so I go blank sometimes, but don't worry, I can keep it going. Life and practice, form and function. When I practice organics, it totally changed my life. And one thing that really sticks out is understanding working with microbes. Going to seminary, you learn how to actually preach. I'm not a preacher. I just enjoyed the learning part of it. But going to seminary, you start to learn how to make lots of analogies. And one thing that I find with microbes is that if you start to understand that you're growing with microbes, you start to be able to have a mindset of thankfulness, because there are other things out there doing things for you that you don't participate in, but you get the full reward for their work. You see what I'm saying? That is an unbelievable thing that you can live for. There are people around you that are doing stuff for you right now that you don't know. But they're doing it and you don't know it. Be thankful because of microbes. That's what they taught me, right? I'm thankful for a guy like Tommy right there. He's a good friend. I appreciate and I value good friends like I value my IMO, right? I choose my friends like I gather my IMO intentionally because I have to. I need to surround myself with good people. Your environment matters, right? Your plant environment matters. Your life environment matters. If you give yourself a poor environment, you're not going to grow. That's it. Plain and simple. I gave myself a terrible environment. For 40 years, I was toxic. I didn't IPM my brain, right? I didn't get rid of them bugs. I just let them fester. I let bad thoughts grow. And it got bad after a while. But thankfully, cannabis brought me out of that. Another thing that you learn is microbes being your friend. You start to learn a life of gratitude. You start to learn that short-term sacrifice will give you long-term gain. And that is an adult mentality. That's a grown-up thing. You got to sacrifice right now to get what you want here in just a little bit. You're not going to have it right now. So grow up, right? You got to wait. You got to wait for it. And that makes you want it and appreciate it more. And that's the stuff you teach your kids, right? These are the things you teach others. Be appreciative. Others are doing the work for you. Don't stand there and be a jerk to people. Sometimes you will be, but ask for forgiveness. That's how you do it. But that's what organics teaches me. Your life and your practice starts to change a little bit. You start to be grateful. You start to be thankful. And microbiology taught me all that stuff. And I want to use organics to teach you that. Now, another thing I want to teach you is your brain is your soil. Think about it that way. For 40 years, I created a toxic soil. This is where the battle is. It's right here. You've got to deal with you. That's the problem. We're all our biggest problem. But that soil that you create in your mind, your thoughts, what you allow into your eyes and ears, what you speak out of your heart, creates that soil that you're going to grow up in. And just like a plant, you are the plant, but just like a plant, if that soil is toxic up in your head, you're not going to grow at all. You have to learn how to think properly. You have to learn to start thinking. If you struggle with anxiety and depression, I'm talking to you. You've got to learn to think what's true, what's correct. It is so easy to sit there and think, people are mad at me, I disappointed them again. I did the same thing again, and she hates it when I do that. You start feeling like that. It's called the loop. In mental health, it's called the loop. It's the thing you keep doing. You know you're going to do it again. You did it again. You might pause for a day or two, but you're going to do it again. You might be thinking a thought that reoccurs. I keep disappointing them. I'm no good. Dang it, you stupid idiot. Y'all men ever say that to yourself? Ladies, you probably do too. You put yourself down, and that is building toxic soil. You cannot sit there and talk bad to yourself and think that you're going to benefit from it. You've got to learn that you can only take so much criticism, and then you're done with yourself. But you can give yourself all the encouragement you can take, right? I work with kids. I worked with Tommy's girl before. I teach tumbling. I was a gymnast, like I said, but now I own a gymnastics gym, or a tumbling gym, and I deal with children. And it's so easy to break them. I can destroy a child if I want. I got tricks up my sleeve. I'm older than them. They're dumb, right? I've done what they've done before, and I know what to say already. I can hurt a child bad. I don't want to do that. I can only criticize them so much. I can only say, you've got to do better at your tumbling. You've got to get stronger. You're not going to be able to do this. I can keep saying that, and they might listen for a while, but then they're going to turn me off. and I'm gonna lose them, and I'll never be able to work with them anymore. What I've got to do is think correctly. I'll say, I know you tried as hard as you could on that pass. Good job. I want that effort again. Let's go. It could be the worst turn they ever took. That's not the point. The point is rewarding. The point is encouraging. The point is turning the situation into a positive and quit letting negative soil build up in your brain. Thinking negatively and speaking negatively like that will make you toxic. Not only to yourself, but to everyone around you. Another thing is plants grow towards the sun. You are like that plant, but let me put this in a child's context. Some of you that have kids out there, do you put a dark cloud over your child's head? Those with kids, do you put a dark cloud over your child's head? And I mean this, do you get onto them too much? Are you just too loud with them and don't apologize for it, right? You just set the example of be mean and walk on. Do you teach them I love you? Do you give them a hug? Those kind of things. We only grow towards the sun. Those kind of things will shade your child's growth. It will put a shade over them and they won't grow like they're supposed to. Putting dark clouds over your child by giving them a dirty look, I'm tired of you. I've done it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not naively saying this is easy. This is tough stuff when you're dealing with 5 kids like I've got. But the point is this. I want them to grow towards the light. I've got to remove the dark cloud from them. I got to get that rainy cloud off of them. That's their emotions. That's what I'm talking about. How they feel. They feel like they're being rained on. So you've got to, if you want your children or if you want your friend to grow, get the dark cloud off of them. That means sometimes you got to move the dark cloud for them. You got to say, I'm proud of you. It's tough. I know it's tough. Man, I'm proud of you. Stay with it. Stay with it. And you just say loving words like that. You don't have to have the answer. Everybody knows how to be encouraging. Be encouraging to your kids. Remove the clouds. Let that sun shine. And they'll grow towards it. Right? Now, that's the life and practice part. That's how it changed me, right? I can think of anything and relate it to organics in a positive way. Form and function. Here's the other part that I want you to learn about organics. There are guys that are very scientific. There are guys that are very methodological. I'm that guy. I am not the science guy. I am methods that I know work. Gathering nuts and twigs and put them in a pile, pouring some stuff on them and letting it rot will give me great soil. I don't have to have it tested. I've seen it, the results for years now. It looks the same every time I make it. Everything's the same. It's a method. But some guys are very, very scientific. Mr. Brandon Russ there is one of them. He's a super smart guy speaking right after me. Soil Guru, Fungi Man, they're all smart guys. I'm not. I'm a methods guy. I like to experiment. Organics at some level, your organics at some level should be experimental. Form and function, and here's why I say it should be experimental. Form and function, there's going to be lots and lots of forms, but there's one function. There's lots of forms of organics. You see my table, there's all kinds of stuff back there. You don't have to make all that. I don't sleep much. I just do stuff. You don't have to make that. That's just my form. That's what my environment offers me. I can make all of that stuff from my yard and about 5 miles around my house. I can make all of that stuff. I don't spend money to make compost. I don't spend money to make soil, genetics, nothing. I'll make it all right there. Your form might look different, and it should look different if you're not growing in my backyard, right? It's your environment. It'll be totally different. Yes, I mean totally, and especially if you go on a microbiological scale, real totally. Lots of difference going on. My IMO is mine, your IMO is yours. That's why I like to trade IMOs, just to get more biology and diversity. But my place looks like my place. I can't do everything that you can do, and you can't do everything I can do. So your form of organics should represent, or at least kind of being a symbol of your environment. I can make bamboo IMO 3 and bamboo IMO 1 and 2 because I have a huge bamboo grow. Most of you probably don't have a huge bamboo grow. So your form is different. Now, why do I say all this form stuff? Because what I want you to do is have freedom in your organics. That's what I want you to do. I want you to follow rules but don't follow stupid rules, right? You know what I'm saying? Like with KNF, with OHN that I've got back there. Traditionally, you're supposed to stir clockwise. Did you notice? I don't. I shake it a little bit. We're good. Put it back, right? So I'll follow rules to get to that end point, but I'm going to get there myself, and I'm going to experiment a little bit because it's how my environment allows me to do it, right? I'm going to play with things. I'm going to follow a principle and not a rule. And the difference is this: a rule will eventually break. Like, it won't apply in all places at all times for all things. A principle can last through centuries of human beings thinking. Like, one principle would be probably don't kill each other, right? Let's not kill each other. A basic principle of let's not murder each other. That's a principle. Follow that. Saying a rule is I'll never ever kill anybody. When somebody walks up to you and holds a gun at you, you're gonna follow the rule then, right? Rules break sometimes, principles bend. So in your organics, follow principles. Principles can be adjusted a little bit. My IMO 3, I don't make it according to all the steps you'll see in KNF steps. I use the inputs that I have. That's my form. The function of it is Mother Nature. Here's the great thing about the function. We can all have different forms of organics. Mother Nature does the exact same thing every time. You won't mess up, right? When you try to make stuff, Mother Nature's function is to turn whatever you did, whether you think it's a mistake or not, back into nutrient for her to use later on. That's what she does. You don't mess up. It's fantastic. The function is up to Mother Nature. She's going to do it her way. The form is up to you and your environment. So allow yourself freedom. Let it be different. When somebody says, oh, you can't make it that way, you're not supposed to make it that way. So you could watch what I do in my environment. Mock it if you want, but don't think it's going to work perfectly because our forms and environments are different, and you got to remember this stuff because you get frustrated trying to do what I do in your environment probably. It might not work well, right? So that's what I want to get across to you. Life and practice. Organics can change you if you let it. You can see things in a positive way. Form and function. Your methods should be your methods. Do them. Have freedom to mess up. And remember, a mess up is never a mess up because Mother Nature always turns it back into nutrients. She just does what she does whether you make a mistake or not. So, your mental health will benefit if you grow organically. It will help you. Not that salts won't, but organics will connect you. And I believe that your successes as you learn to do like IMO 1, IMO 2, as you take these baby steps of progression and you reach success, small steps of success, this is extremely beneficial to you as a human being for your brain. Whenever you make small goals and you reach them, your dopaminergical systems are triggered to release you with a reward. In organics, every single thing back there is considered a small reward in my life. I'm fighting mental health. I'm fighting anxiety and depression, experimenting with organics, taking steps forward, understanding if what I did was good or if what I did was bad, and either way, gaining that knowledge. And I'm rewarding myself. I'm working with my brain to be more mentally healthy by doing successful grows, using organics, trying to see people like my friends and my microbes. I could just keep going forever. But thank you for being here. That is my talk. Take the gold and enjoy it.